Good morning, everyone. I'm Ms. Bibi Fanisa Abdul, and I'll be your moderator for today's professional learning panel discussion on literature approaches, organized by the Regional Education Office. Our goal is to strengthen teachers' understanding of various approaches to teaching literature and how they can be applied in the classroom. We have four panelists with us today, each focusing on a different approach. Each presentation will last 2 to 3 minutes. Panelist number 1, Ms. Felicia Bashir, will be presenting on literature-based approach. Panelist 2, Ms. Naomi Austin, will be presenting on reader response approach. Panelist 3, Sir Godfrey Rodrigues, will be presenting on new criticism approach. And Ms. Diane Gill will be presenting on cultural and moral understanding approach. Let's begin with our first panelist, Ms. Felicia Bashir, presenting on the literature-based approach.
Thank you, moderator. Good morning, everyone. Today I will be speaking about the literacy-based approach in language arts. This approach helps students learn language through real stories, poems, and plays. It connects reading, writing, speaking, and listening, all in one lesson. My key point is integration, because this method helps students use all language skills together. What the data approach does. That literacy-based approach makes learning more natural and enjoyable. When students read story they love, they don't just learn words. They understand meaning, ideas, and emotions. They learn language the same way we use it in real life, by listening, talking, writing on one topic. Advantages. This approach has many advantages. It makes learning fun and meaningful. It builds integration, vocabulary, and grammar. It helps students think critical and express ideas. It helps students connect stories to their own lives. There are a few disadvantages too. Finding the right story for every age can be difficult. Planning lessons can take a lot of time. Some students may struggle with long and complex stories, but with creativity, these challenges can be managed. Classroom example. In my classroom, we used the story, The Lion and the Mouse. We read the story and discussed the main idea and the moral of the story. Students wrote short paragraphs about the time they helped someone. And after that, we did a short play on the story. So the one story taught reading, writing, and speaking together, showing integration in action. In conclusion, the literacy-based approach makes learning creative, connective, and meaningful. These stories, students learn not only language, but also life lessons, empathy, and understanding. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bashir. That was a clear and thoughtful explanation of how the literature-based approach encourages students to engage directly with the text and develop critical reading skills. Next, we'll hear from Ms. Naomi Austin, who will speak on the reader response approach.
Thank you, Ms. Bibi. For my literature approach, I would be focusing on the reader's response approach. The reader's response approach views the reader's personal experience as central to understanding a story, emphasizing that meaning comes from the interaction between reader and text. In the classroom, it encourages students to share their own interpretation instead of seeking one correct answer. This approach has proven highly effective in educational and literary settings due to its focus on students' engagement and critical validation. It encourages critical thinking. It helps students think deeply about why they feel or interpret a certain story in a certain way. It increases motivation and engagement. It makes reading enjoyable by connecting stories to students' own lives and experience. It values diverse perspective. It recognizes that different backgrounds lead to different, equally important interpretations. While powerful, this approach faces challenges mainly concerning objectivity and academic rigor. Disadvantages of the reader response approach. Danger of unwanted subjectivity. Students may focus too much on personal feelings and miss a deeper meaning or structure of a text. Neglect of historical and formal context. Overemphasizing on the reader's view can cause students to overlook the author's purpose, time, and period. Difficulty in objective assessment. Since interpretation vary, it can be hard for teachers to grade student responses fairly and consistently. For example, an example of reader's response approach would be students read the Three Little Pig book and share how they would feel or act as one of the pigs, expressing their ideas through discussion and drawings. This helped them connect personally with the story and think creatively. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Austin. You highlighted well how this approach allows students to connect personally with the text and share diverse interpretation. Now let's welcome Sir Godfrey Rodrigues, who will present on the new criticism approach.
Thank you, Ms. Abdul. Good morning, everyone. Today, my main focus would be on the new criticism approach. This approach views literary work as self-contained, meaning derived from elements like imagery, symbolism, tone, and structure. It disregards external elements and emphasizes the reader's role in interpreting the text. The main advantage of this approach, the new criticism approach emphasizes the text itself, focusing on the language, structure, and meaning. It encourages close reading and critical thinking, allowing students to understand multiple layers of the text's meaning. On the other hand, the new criticism approach to teaching and learning literary works presents challenges for both teachers and students. It focuses on the text, ignoring author's background, historical context, and unique responses, which makes it difficult for students to relate the book to real life. The teacher struggled with class planning and time management. How this approach connects to classroom? When a text is given to students, they can read it silently, then aloud. Focusing on the text's figurative speech, word meaning, rhyme, theme, which allow for open-ended question. Another example, teaching poem to students can help them identify pattern, repeated words, and symbols, then analyzing their meaning. Thank you.
Excellent point, Sir Rodrigues. Your discussion on analyzing the text, structure, and language really showed how this method sharpens close reading and interpretation skills. Finally, we'll hear from Ms. Diane Gill, who will discuss the cultural and moral understanding approach.
Thank you, Ms. Bibi. Good morning, colleagues. For my literature-based approach, I'll be focusing on the cultural and moral understanding. The literature-based approach helps students develop that cultural and moral understanding by using stories, poems, and other literary works through reading students learn about different cultures, tradition, and beliefs, which help them respect and appreciate diversity. Literature also teaches moral value such as honesty, kindness, and fairness by showing the action and choices of characters. This approach encourages students to think critically about right and wrong and to discuss moral lessons found in the text. The literature-based approach helps in classroom by creating meaningful, engaging learning experience. It allows students to connect what they read to real life situation, promoting deeper understanding. Through stories and poems, students can discuss cultural differences, share their opinion, and learn to respect other point of view. It also helps build critical thinking, empathy, and moral reasoning as students reflect on characters, actions, and decisions. Teachers can use literature to guide discussion on values like honesty, kindness, and respect, making the classroom a place where students learn both academically and socially. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gill. You beautifully emphasize how literature can teach values, empathy, and awareness of cultural perspective. Now, thank you to all our panelists for their informative contribution. We'll now take a few questions or comments from the audience, and the panelists could ask any question if they'd like.
Good afternoon. My question is for Ms. Gill. My question is, how does reading literature help students understand and respect different cultures? I repeat,
Okay.
how does reading literature help students understand and respect different cultures?
Okay, Miss. By reading literature helps students learn about different people, their tradition, their belief, and the ways of life. It can also help build their understanding by respect and appreciate for other people's cultures.
Thank you very much.
My question goes to Ms. Felisa. How can teachers make literature-based lesson more effective for students with different reading levels?
Thank you for that question. Now, teachers can use differentiating. They can select stories that match students' reading ability, or by simple text. They can simplify the text and without losing the meaning. Read aloud, use visual aids, or pairing stronger readers with the weaker ones will also help the students benefit from the same story.
Thank you, Ms. Great answer.
Okay, panelists, I also have a question. How does the reader response approach differ from new criticism approach, and can insight from one support to another? This question goes to Sir Rodriguez or Ms. Austin.
I'll go ahead and answer that question, Miss. Thank you for that question. So the reader response focuses on the reader's personal interpretation, while new criticism focuses on the text itself. Yes, understanding the text deeply can enhance personal interpretation, and a reader's insight can guide the text analysis. Thank you, Miss.
Okay, Miss, thank you for that. Now, as we
Hi.
conclude, I'd like to thank everyone for participating. Each approach gives us valuable tools to make literature meaningful and relevant for our students. Let's continue to apply these ideas in our classroom. Thank you once again, everyone.
Thank you, moderator. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you, Miss. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you.